It was worth it.
So we ended with leg extensions, right? Mm-hmm. So we're on leg extensions, maxed out. Thank God it only went up to 150 pounds, but 150 pounds, 6 reps. And then for my rest was going to the lion leg curls and doing a set of 10. So I would do that, come back, and then drop the weight 1. So it would go from 150 to 140, but add 2 reps. Yeah. And we did that all the way to 60, and then we switched that bitch to single leg. And when I tell you my motherfucking heart was like, Levi, we're going to get through this, but it's going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
And I knew it. Uh-huh. I woke up this morning knowing it was going to go down like that, and I was fucking so ready. But anyways, Abby, welcome to Talk Smack with Mac. We're fucking in this thing right now, going hard.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I can't wait.
I know. You. It seems like you have a lot to talk about. Like you've done a lot of shit. I get that impression from you. You seem like you're a person that just, you go out and you work. Tell me about it.
Resources. Yes. I'm a huge believer in that everything you want is at in your fingertips. In your fingertips, whether it's social media, whether it's your friends, whether it's asking questions, whether it's looking it up. Asking questions is probably the best thing.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say.
World.
Asking questions is so important.
I'm really excited to be here because I love podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and one of them that I listen to, he's very big on like, if you want really specific answers on exactly what you're looking for, you have to ask oddly specific questions. Mm-hmm. When you get general, you're only going to get general answers, and that's not going to lead you in the right way.
Give me an example. What is a question that you have asked?
Oh my God. Okay, this is like totally off topic, but also not. The worst question in the world is like when you go in for an interview, and they're like, tell me about yourself.
You're like, oh, fuck. I have so much to say, but
like,
I can't think of shit.
There's so much that makes up a person, and you want me to just pick one? So, like, if you want to get to know me, you ask, like, questions. Mm-hmm. Like, just good questions. But anyway, yeah, I'm a huge fan of resources, going back to the question that you asked me, of looking it up. And there's always an answer. You just need to have the right question.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I have learned, especially in my later 20s, to ask all of the questions. When I was younger, I was so against asking questions because the stupid perspective that I had and the people around me, it was like, if you ask questions, they're going to laugh or they're going to make you feel less than or, shit like that. Mm-hmm. So it makes you frown upon asking questions. And that really put me behind. I could have been a little bit more advanced than I was at. But now that I'm in my 20s and I'm almost about to hit 30, baby, hey. I'm going to ask a whole bunch of fucking questions because if you have the fucking answer and you could save me time, which is so invaluable, let me fucking ask you. I don't give a fuck about your opinion or his opinion about me. I got that answer, though. So, yes, asking questions is very valuable. Mm-hmm. Very, very valuable.
And I don't think I've ever asked a question where someone was like, why'd you ask that? I don't think that's ever happened to me.
I don't know if maybe it was insecurity. Maybe insecurity as a kid.
Had that actually happened to you before? Like, have you ever asked a question and someone was like, man, that was stupid?
Oh, hell yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Like, where?
Girl, we're talking about inside the circle. Like, in the household growing up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, family, that's a whole different podcast and a whole different set of trauma. Outside the home. Yeah. Outside the home.
Outside the home, no. I learned that most people are nice. There's a lot of nice people out there. And my perspective and my perception of people up until I joined the military was very shitty. I had a very negative perspective on people. And, more often than not, most people are cool.
Most people just be like, oh, yeah, it's this. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, have you looked here? But, like, you'll never know until you ask the question.
Yeah.
Even if it's no. Mm-hmm. Cool.
No,
ask anyway.
Ask another person.
Ask anyway. Or go find somebody else to ask. Or,
exactly.
I don't know, Google it.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you something will come up. Anyway.
Yeah. Google has all them fucking answers. I think we're in an age where if you have a question and you don't find an answer, you're just being lazy. Because, like you said, back at your fingertips, we have everything with this little monster right here.
Everything you could ever need, want, search, know, literally anything is right there.
Especially with AI taking over, like Chat GPT and shit like that.
And if it's not on Google, it's on YouTube.
Oh man.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, and YouTube. I mean, how many times did we preach YouTube University? Oh man, your fucking toilet's clogged. Let me fucking
how to?
let me Google the symptoms and what I'm going through, and then YouTube how to fix it.
No, seriously.
Hey, as a homeowner, I had to learn that shit real quick. My first summer here, I was in the trenches in my front yard, 4 feet deep, because I had a fucking pipe burst, and I was like, shit, I'm too goddamn broke to fucking
how to
have one of the homies come fix that shit. So I'm gonna be down there fucking with my phone in one hand and fucking maybe my bong right close to fucking keep me calm and shit. We're about to fix this problem.
Did it work?
Hell yeah, fix that shit.
Hell yeah, it worked. Hell yeah, it worked.
That shit is fire. There's nothing better than having a problem and fixing it, especially if you have no fucking idea what you're doing.
Oh, that's the best.
Yes.
Oh, that's the best. I have no clue how to go about this. Let me ask my friends or let me look it up. And then you just have so many options. There's so many options to choose when you go about fixing something, whether it's physically or whether it's like metaphorically.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
I always say there wasn't just the Yellow Brick Road to get to Oz. If you watch the movie,
there's other destinations. Of course.
When she starts walking on the Yellow Brick Road, there's actually a red one. There's also a blue one.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched it in a
But no one
while.
followed it.
Yeah.
She only decided to take the yellow one.
Why is that?
It's the one she picked.
Do you think all destinations would have gotten her home, but the journey was fucked up? What if blue means that she drowned on that destination, or red means that she caught on fire? And yellow was just like, she's just bright and shining and clicked her fucking heels and took her home.
All right. Well, it led her to the field of daisies, or what was it, like daffodils or something like that?
Same.
But you never know. Just saying.
Yeah. That's a good point, though. Different floats for different boats. Yeah. So, Abby, where are you from? Oh, you said St. Louis. Tell me about that. What was it like growing up in St. Louis?
I am from St. Louis, yes. Midwest represent.
St. Louis, man. Nellyville.
Actually,
Nelly gone crazy.
I'm from 30 minutes
St.
outside
Lunatics.
St. Louis.
Okay.
I just say St. Louis because no one's going to know what St. Charles is.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, so we say St. Louis.
St. Louis, man. What was it like?
It's the Midwest. It's a decently small town. I mean, I moved a lot growing up, but
Moved around St. Louis a lot?
yeah. I think I moved like 13 times between like freshman or like 8th grade and like senior year.
Holy
Something
fuck.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Why?
My parents separated, and it was just like
Going through the struggle?
yeah. But I mean, what was it like? It was monotonous. Well, I'm not there anymore, so you can tell I enjoyed it. It didn't. They're doing their best.
Yeah.
They're doing their best, and I just had bigger ideas.
I tell you what, I fucking hate Missouri.
Me too.
You know, I went to basic training in Phase 1 of dive school in Fort Leonard Wood. Girl. When I tell you never again, like if I have a choice, fuck that. That place just sucks. Like it feels like the energy is just sucked out and just negativity is just drilled in there with bad dreams and Missouri sucks. Missouri,
same thing.
Exactly. Man, I remember my first night there, which actually it wasn't my first night. So when you join the military, you go through in-processing, which I had no idea. I thought you just show up and they're just like, it's fucking go time. Like, here's all your stuff. Like, they just have it ready for you. This is like my fucking imaginary mind, right? Fucking movies. So you show up, you go through in-processing, you get all your shit, you sign your life away a million times over. They shoot you with 75 shots, and then, you get all your clothes and all of that shit. And, you got to pay for it all. So you start the military off, like, in debt. He's like, here's a G, for my 17 uniforms and all of my shit, and we'll just take it, we'll garnish it out your wages, over time, take a little bit here, a little bit there. It's like, what the fuck? I thought you were just going to give me that shit. I thought the taxpayers pay for this shit. We just get it. They're like, yeah, that's true, but you're still going to pay for it too. So fuck the military. But anyways, I go through in processing. That was a bitch. And then I finally get to basic training. But the first night of basic training, you're sitting in this room or in this like dorm, right? It's open loft, and there's like 60 beds in there, and you know, each person gets a bed and you're sleeping. But the first night, you have these people from all over the world. We're all scared as fuck. Most of us are young. We don't know what we're doing. But it's snowing. It's snowing good, and it's pure quiet, right? And then we all finally get some sleep and wake up the next day, and everything is just blanketed in snow. I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. I've never seen that before. I've never experienced that. So my first night was like, that was like my, I guess, turn of the page of like my start of the new chapter for me. And it was absolutely amazing for about 1 minute. And then I just said, damn, it's cold as fuck and it's wet, and I slipped. He busted his ass hard as fuck. It's icy, it's slippery. The fucking roads are closed. We ain't getting fed. Fuck Missouri.
Oh, welcome to the Midwest.
Yeah. So when did you get out of there?
I moved to 2018. Yeah, 2018.
Okay.
I moved
so
out
you've been here a little bit. You moved to Vegas 2018?
So I moved, yes, I did move to Vegas 2018, and I went to TAPS, Theater Arts Preparatory School. It's a 6-month trade school to get dancers ready for the industry, because I've been dancing since I could walk. Yeah, I moved out here and I went to school September 2018, and I graduated March 2019.
You moved here for the school or for the opportunity, or
yes, for the school. So, like I said, I started.
The school is cracking like that,
huh?
The school is like really awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That school is one of the best things in this entire industry.
How you get in there? You got an audition?
Yeah. So he only takes between 20 and 30 people a year.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Good for you.
Thank you. I was part of year 4. Right now they're on year 9.
Oh, so it's fairly new.
Yeah. So it's fairly new.
Oh, okay.
But he has every agency to come in. He holds all the auditions. Like, he has Broadway choreographers, LA choreographers, LA agents just dying to come in and teach for him because of the setup that he is structured with the school. It's amazing. It's 6 months. It's a fraction of college, and we're auditioning starting in, January of the, after 3 months in, we're starting auditions. And if you book before school is over, which is 6 months, you get to go. Like, that's not the goal of the school. The goal of the school is to get you ready. Yeah. But if you happen
if you get a job, you're fucking ready.
Like,
shit.
I got a job. I ended up working for Royal Caribbean right after school. My contract started.
The cruise line?
Yeah.
So you were dancing on cruise line?
So I auditioned in like February, I think it was, of that year, and then I ended up booking the contract, and my contract started 3 days after I had graduated school.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, so I graduated school. I remember doing an audition the next day after school was over, and then I drove all the way back home, and then I flew out the next day to Florida to start rehearsals for Royal Caribbean.
And then how long did that last?
So altogether 7.5 months, 6 weeks of rehearsals, 6 months on the ship. So that was from...
I've never been on a cruise, but I became
You've never
one.
been on... Oh,
I became one with the water in the military, but never been on a cruise.
So to take a cruise, I bet is a great time.
Do you know Rebecca?
Dream
Tracks. Probably not, but she works on a cruise line too, singing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wonder if she does like guest entertainment or if she's part of the production cast. Yeah. Anyway, but it's a completely different life to live on a ship. So I did that in 2019. Yeah.
I'm sure that
March
was,
of 2019 in November. I could write novels. I only did one contract on a ship, and I feel like I don't need to do any more because
you got enough in. Were you just going?
I was just telling my roommate this earlier because somehow it came up. Cruise ship life is not real. It's not real. That time, it's not real. It didn't
Were you eating for free and stuff too?
Yes.
Was it like as much as you can eat, or is like you get
So here's the thing. And I don't know how different it is because of COVID and how everything has changed. But when I was on
timing too.
Yeah.
The year before.
It was right before COVID.
Yeah.
It was March 2019 to November 2019. So then March of 2020.
It was like December shit started getting a little different.
Yeah.
Fucking timing, baby.
Yeah. So like at the time, we eat in the mess. So the mess is just, the cafeteria for all the crew. And it is like 2 days old of what all the passengers got to eat in the buffet. So whatever you had like on Wednesday, we would get like on Friday.
It was cool. It was just in the fridge, right? Heat that motherfucker up. Let's go. I was in the Army. Remember?
Yeah.
I would fuck that food up.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet it was
with
a lot better
smile
than
on my face.
Yep.
I'm bulking this shit, baby. Like, how much can I get?
Right.
All right, so give me your opinion.
It was terrible. The spinach tasted like plastic.
Spinach. Okay, I would
It was
skip
just
that.
like anything like that was not good. Although I will say that like I fell in love with like curry and like with a lot. My palate has grown since being on ship because like keep in mind I came from Missouri. I came from St. Louis, Missouri.
You came from
this
Missouri.
small town.
Yeah.
Okay, where there wasn't a lot other than snow. Okay, there was a lot of white around in St. Louis, and nothing wrong with it. That's just where I grew up. Like, like I grew up with horses, like cornfields, the whole thing. So like.
That's
To move to Vegas was a culture shock. And then to get on a ship was another culture shock.
Yeah.
So like I do appreciate that like my palate grew and like a lot grew with that obviously. But yeah, so I wasn't a big fan of the food. So I spent a lot of money outside the ship on ports.
Docking and stuff?
Yeah, on food. Because I just didn't like it.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's a very acquired lifestyle, that's for sure. It's not for everybody. My roommate had the most horrible time, or my cabin mate at the time did not have a good time on the ship.
What did you do during the day when you weren't dancing? I'm assuming you were dancing during live entertainment for the nighttime.
Yes. So I was lucky and got a 5 and 9 day cruise. Like
5 and 9.
So every other cruise was either a 5-day cruise or a 9-day cruise.
Okay,
So
without porting.
With porting.
Okay.
So like the 5-day cruise was like 1 day at like 1.5 days at sea, 1 whole day in Bermuda, and then a whole day and a half back. So it ended up being 5 days. The 9-day cruise changed. So like one of them was up through Canada and back. And then the other one was like down through Miami and the Bahamas and back. And the other one was like Bahamas and then Bermuda and then back. So I didn't go too many crazy, amazing places.
What was Bermuda like? Because that
Bermuda's,
triangle is right up over there.
Oh, no,
like,
we passed the Bermuda Triangle every single time. So every week I was through the Bermuda Triangle, yeah.
That's fucking so cool to say.
Yeah, every week.
Okay.
For 6 months straight, yeah.
Nothing weird?
No.
You didn't like go in and then 2 hours later you got long ass hair or some shit? You get lost for 6 months or... Nothing crazy?
No. I know.
See any fucking sea monsters or?
No. We saw whales every time we left Canada.
Do you think it's bullshit?
What, the Bermuda Triangle thing? I don't know, because I also didn't care enough to like. I didn't realize we were going through the Bermuda Triangle until like
it was over.
It was almost over.
Was like,
and I remember being in Bermuda and like walking through and seeing like some type of souvenir. It was like, I saw the Bermuda Triangle. I was like, haha, why do they have this in Bermuda? And they were like, Abby, we have to go through Bermuda Triangle to get here. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Why would I know that? I literally stay in my cabin because I don't want to spend time with the guests because the guests ask questions and I don't know anything because I'm an entertainer. You know, guests really don't care that you're an entertainer. They're just like, where's this? I'm like, I don't know where that is. Like, I'm just here to grab a coffee from the coffee guy and go back to my cabin. And like, guests also don't look at you like you have a real job. They're like... They're like, oh, you're a dancer? Like, have you tried Broadway? I'm like, you know what? I haven't. But now that you mention it, I might go try Broadway. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to bang my head against. I know, it just makes me, I'm just like, oh, that's adorable. No, I haven't. Not yet. But I will. Like, it's just, people are just really interesting on ships. So I tried to stay out of the guest areas as much as I could.
I'm sure most people would be like drunk or fucked up all the time.
Sometimes.
Other than the old folk, they're probably just there to chill.
Well, the ship that I was on had a lot of older. They were geared more towards an older crowd.
Okay.
Just because it was an older ship, it was Grandeur of the Seas. So it's just an older one of their ships, and it's just more of their classic ones. So a lot of the older crowd was there.
I feel that. Do you feel like the experience would have differed if the crowd was different? No, still the same.
Yeah, if I had the same, different crowd, same crew, same.
So the crew just sucked ass.
So like, okay, you're in the military, right? Like things are different when you're with the same person every day, all the time. You are sleeping, breathing, working,
you better
pooping.
Love them.
With them, time is different. The way that you like have a relationship with somebody when you are always with them, it's just different.
Yeah.
Same thing. I am with that cast, that crew, 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, things are different. Time doesn't feel real. A week in that time, you know, a way two people connect and grow together in a week's time on a ship or, you know, in the military is like a month.
Day, yeah, all day,
in real
every day.
life. Because you don't get the time away. You are always with them.
So it's if you don't love them and they're your favorite person, it's like, fuck. I got to deal with fucking Jamie again, man. Here we go. Just get the coffee and get back to the fucking room.
Right. Or like, I really don't like my dance captain. I just cannot wait until this rehearsal is over. You know, so I can go try to hide.
So how much were you all, not auditioning, but rehearsing, like on a daily basis?
So my contract was slightly different. We were called the Cursed Cast.
The Curse Cast.
Because like we did rehearsals for 6.5 weeks before we got on the ship. We got on the ship opening night. I gotta set the scene. So opening night, we're like all excited. We're like, yay, we're finally opening on the ship. We can't wait. One of our shows started with us right in front of the band, and there was like this scrim in front, and they were playing like videos on the scrim. And then the scrim came up, and we were like hanging basically on like light posts and stuff, and it was like a rock opening. So we were like, you know, headbanging, and then we did these like crosses. We crossed each other to get to our opening pose. Okay. So we're like doing the whole intro, and when the boys crossed, they like did like a high five or like a shoulder hit or whatever, you know, like being dudes. Trying to be straight dudes. So they go to their opening pose. And again, opening night. These guys cross, they go in for a high five, and one of them misses and smacks him in the nose, breaks his nose.
Damn, what the fuck kind of high five was he trying to do?
Within 20 seconds of that show starting, we have somebody with a broken nose. And so...
Oh, that sucks so bad for that person.
So he's like, just like through the show, like the stage hands are grabbing tissues for this poor boy, and he's like freaking out in the back. And halfway through the show, I looked at him and I said, "You are gonna get through this show, and you are gonna do it with a smile on your face, whether or not blood is dripping down your face or not. All right, we have a show to finish, and you are strong, and you can handle this." And he was like, "Okay," and so he finished it. We were so amazed. But like that time, that 45 minutes we had between our first show and second show, we were in a reblock. So we had to
What is a reblock?
So we had to redo
restaging
all
everything?
the formations, all of our staging, while he went to the nurse and got his nose looked at. So he didn't even do the second show of opening night. So from there on, we had injury
for the rest of the fucking cruise.
We had injury after injury, and every week we were in a reblock. We reblocked the show almost 50 times. That doesn't happen in any other contract ever. I remember, because that was my first contract. Keep in mind, this is my only contract. This is the only experience I've had, is to be in rehearsals every week because we've had somebody either sick or injured. So in my brain, I'm like, well, I don't have anything else to do. We have 5 and 9 day cruises. What am I doing in that time? Sitting on my ass and watching movies? I have nothing else to do. Why don't we just call another rehearsal? Why don't we just change the show again? Because God forbid, I don't have anything else to do. But everybody else was complaining because they were like, this isn't how this goes. This isn't how this works. it was a very interesting time. Again, I was new, so I was like, I'm happy to be here. I'm ready to work. That's the mindset you have to have in the industry. So that's the mindset I had. And I didn't really care because, again, I had nothing else to do other than to just be there. So we were in reblocks and rehearsals every week because of that. But in a typical contract, you're there one time a week or the morning of the show to do tech run. In tech run, you just, check whether the hydraulics are going right. They run the show technically, lights, any movement on the stage to make sure that nothing's broken or nothing's anything. That's typically the only time that there's a rehearsal. But again, my contract was just a little different.
Fuck, man. It seems like it's like that. When you finally... You went to school, you moved to Vegas, you went to school, you got the fucking gig, and then you go through the rehearsals for the 6 weeks, and you get on the ship, and it's go time, and then bam!
Everything went wrong.
That kind of deflates your perspective, I'm sure, when it comes to, hey, let's look for the next gig, or what am I going to accept, or what questions am I going to ask when it comes to, hey, what is typical I guess for this cruise or for this job. But I guess when things go fucking sideways, you have no option but to do what you got to do.
Well, that not started my mindset, but that was my big girl job. That was my first big girl job,
That put your standards so low.
But ever since then, I've had no expectations. I now expect everything to go wrong.
Yeah.
I expect for one of the hydros to break on stage during the show so that we have to dance around it. Like, this is the shit that happens. The amount of shit that goes down on a show, and a live show, is ridiculous. The amount of things that happen on that contract alone is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I expect it to go all wrong. Because if it goes all wrong, I was prepared for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if it goes all right, great. Easy. But that was like, oh, wait. You can't just always expect things to work out the way that they're supposed to, because if you do, I'm going to end up like my cast, who's all complaining about it every single week. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're seasoned and you understand that it's supposed to run a certain way, I can understand that that's very frustrating. But shit goes wrong all the time.
Yeah, just life.
Especially in this industry. No matter what industry you're in, but I can only speak from the entertainment industry, whether it's film, whether it's live, whether it's anything of any sort, something's gonna go wrong. Something might go wrong. Someone's gonna run late. Someone's gonna forget something. We're gonna have to reblock. We're gonna have to reshoot. We're gonna have to reschedule. We're gonna have to push it back. Oh, so-and-so can't make it today. We have to do a recast. Always.
You just got to be open to it.
And you have to,
I feel like if you love what you're doing, when those things happen, it's not going to be as bad.
And that's why I didn't care on the ship. I had nothing else to do but dance. And because I was dancing, I really didn't give a shit that we had to be there almost every day for a reblock. Because
how does dancing make you feel?
How does dancing make me feel? Ooh. In alignment. Now how
mind, body, and soul?
Actually, I'm gonna rephrase. Dancing makes me feel like I started on the Yellow Brick Road. Now performing.
That's when you're trotting down that bitch.
In alignment.
Yeah.
Because I love dancing, but I love performing 10 times more.
Oh, of course. Dancing, that's just the work.
So I don't care.
That's the chore that you have to put in. Now, whether you love that chore or not is besides the point. But when those lights come on and those people are watching and they're watching you, you have their attention and you're doing what you love and you know you're the fucking shit at it. That's when it gets special.
Whether it's on stage or in front of a camera.
Yeah, you just like to be seen. You just like to be that motherfucker. I have
a lot of things to say.
Talk, girl.
Whether it's physically, whether it's metaphorically, I have a lot to say. And my soul demands an audience.
Yes. I love that.
in any capacity.
Yeah.
So, yes, dance is just the avenue that I chose because I knew how to do it. But acting, public speaking, teaching, I just go back to the word performing because it's just being in that creative space, being in that zone, being in that point of influence is just, that's what lights me up.
Yeah. There's a different type of emotions that are released when it comes to performing, when it comes to being behind the spotlight, and I guess live too. Live is different. Live is exciting because there is no rewinds, there is no fuck ups. Well, I mean there are fuck ups, but you got to pray to God that you get it right. You know, there's always those times when people are performing and they're like juggling or they're, you know, doing, you know, the ROTC with the guns and shit. I'm like, man, what if they drop it? How would you feel if they drop it?
And you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
There are so many life lessons in live performance that are absolutely priceless. I literally on that ship, on that contract, I was backstage and we had a quick change and there was a girl who had a problem with her zipper and she was supposed to be on stage and she said, I can't be on stage. So I walked on. Did I know what she was supposed to be doing? Kind of. Did I make it work?
You figured it out.
Absolutely, I did. And I surprised every person who was on that stage because they were like, why are you here? I was like, she couldn't make it.
Wardrobe malfunction. Man,
and you have to figure it out. I've been on stage where props have fallen or like sets have fallen mid-show. You got to figure it out.
That's crazy.
You got to figure it out. You don't have an option.
Yeah. Most people don't think about that. Most people, when you go to like me, my side, the consumers, right? You're putting on a show. I'm expecting everything to be perfect. But like you said before, your mindset is some shit's about to go down. Now, me as the consumer, based on what exactly falls or what exactly happens, what prop fucks up, we may think it's part of the show based on your reaction. So yes, you do have to sell the fuck out of it. What's like the craziest shit that has happened to you on set or during a live performance?
I mean, we did have a set piece fall. I can tell you about a joke we played on each other during show, I think that's probably my favorite part is that we know something's wrong and you never will.
Yeah. That's what makes it funny on the inside.
Oh my God, it's the best. It's my favorite thing in the world.
They didn't even know.
It's my favorite thing in the world when I know something that you guys don't know. Oh, it's the best. So, like at the end of our contract, we started playing jokes on each other, play pranks. A lot of casts do this. Like when things get super monotonous.
You have to have a way to spice it up.
When you're doing the same show, you have to have a way to spice it up.
Yeah.
But at the end of a contract, we're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had this. I love telling this story. So we had this dance where we had like gloves and we had this pack on our back, and so we had two sets of gloves. We had black gloves and white gloves, and then we had like a tambourine and like scarves in our packs, and like depending on the number, we'd put our hands behind our back, and oh, now there are these color gloves. Oh, now we have a tambourine. You know, whatever. So the last week, when we started playing pranks on each other, one of our singers decided to put shaving cream in one of the dancer's gloves.
And when you reach in and feel some shit like that, that's going to catch you off guard.
And when you have a trained dancer who is dedicated and determined, they don't give a shit what is on their costume. They are going to make it on stage and make it to their spot. So this man puts on his gloves and he's like, what is this? And so we start walking on stage and we cross each other and I see him and he has shaving cream on his face. And I am trying not to just break out laughing. And it's so funny because, right, we have our hands out. So his hands are out and we do stuff. We put our hand behind our back and then we bring our hands back out. So every time he went to put his hands behind his back, he started rubbing it up and down his back. And so we're on stage and the whole thing smells like shaving cream. So it smells fantastic. And I'm trying not to break out because we also have to lip sync the songs, like lip sync the background vocals. So I'm trying to continue to lip sync and trying not to die because he's in my peripheral mirror with like view with like just shaving cream all over himself and all over his costume. And it is the funniest goddamn thing in the whole world. Oh, God, because he committed to it. That's the best part. And that's what made it so funny because he still made every single glove change. He did not fuck up a single thing, but he was absolutely just covered in shaving cream. And it was all up and down his back. And oh, God, that's what made it so great, though. I think that's the best part is when, like, dancers' stuff is falling off their body, but they are still 110% in it. It just, oh, God, I love it.
You gotta stay in character.
That was the funniest thing that's definitely happened. So
after that cruise,
anyway.
and the contract concludes with Royal Caribbean. What'd you do after that?
Well, I went home because I was gonna start another contract with Royal. I think it was like April of 2020. And I was like, I don't want to move all my stuff back to Vegas for like 3 months or 4 months or whatever, and then move it all back. Like, that's just a lot of work. Let me just stay at home. And at the time I was like, oh, let me just go to New York and audition for a little bit and get a feel for where I actually want to be. And then we all know how that went. COVID happened. And then I moved here back to Vegas fully in August of 2020.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
When things were still kind of weird. It was weird for a little bit.
It was because nothing actually opened until 2021.
So what were you doing? If you I'm assuming you were wanting to dance and shit. What were you doing to live?
I figured Vegas would be the first entertainment city to open up.
Yeah.
I was like, well, Vegas can't live without entertainment. Yeah. It's the only thing that the city thrives on. So let me move there because at least I'll be able to dance because I didn't want to stay at home in St. Louis. Yeah. Where we've already discovered that I really love living there. So I came out here. I visited for like a week, July, and my friend out here was like, if you ever want to move back to Vegas, let me know. And I said, please be careful because I'm going to take you up on that. And she was like, no, seriously. So I said, give me 4 weeks. So 4 weeks, I moved back out here and got a job at a dance studio. You know, again, nothing was really open. Actually, I was working the front desk.
Okay. But it was a dance studio.
It was a dance studio. I got free studio space if I wanted it, and I was still in the world. And then 2021 all happened, and finally things opened up. And I took a nap one day, and I'm never gonna forget it because I was offered my first like gig out here. I didn't audition. I didn't do anything. I literally took a nap, and I woke up to a message from a prior teacher of mine that said, "Hey, my friend needs another dancer for her gig. Do you want it?" And I said, "Absolutely, I want it." And he was like, "Send me your number." And 2 minutes later, I got a text. "Hey, this is the gig that I need. I need you vaccinated by this day. I don't know if you are or not. This is the rate. Do you want it?" I'll be there, and I'll be vaccinated.
Was it decent money?
I think it was like $1,200. That's the thing about gigs out here. They pay very well. It was like 3 days of work.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Get your money, girl.
Gigs pay well.
Yes.
So 3-day gig. And it was for Nissan, so I loved that.
What did you do exactly?
So the most of the work that I do out here is industrials is what they call them. So Nissan comes out here and Nissan's like, oh, we're going to show all of our new cars for the year 2022. And we're going to put on this show. And then they say, you know what would make this show better? If we hired dancers. So then they hire dancers, or they hire a production company or a choreographer. And then that choreographer hires dancers. And then they say, we want an opening number and a closing number. And then I come in, they ask dancers. We come in for rehearsals, whether it's a day or whether it's 2 days. We learn 2 numbers. Next day, we have an on-site rehearsal, and then either that night or the following day, we have show. We do 2 numbers, and we get out, and it pays $1,200 for 3 days.
That's it. That's it.
That's the one?
That's the one.
That's the one. And
so you are a motherfucking dancer in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. What does that say to you?
what does that say to me?
What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? It means that I accomplished one of my goals. Ever since I was 10 years old, my mom and I took a trip to New York. And I looked at her at 10 years old and I said, that's going to be me. And I have not stopped since that day. And I, going to school out here, the owner of my school is very big on like, you can't call yourself a professional until you pay your bills with the money you make performing. And in the last year, I have been able to do that. And I don't rely on anything else. I will always teach dance because I love teaching kids. I love kids. It's sometimes. Occasionally I love kids. But I love teaching kids. It's so much fun. And like I teach kickboxing for fun. Like those are things that I do because I love them, not because I rely on them. And so the fact that I'm able to say that is insane to me, because if you told me that at like 16, I'd be like, no way. Like, that's crazy.
That's so fucking
cool.
But
I
admire that too.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's cool. You set your goals and dreams out and you're fucking well on the way.
Yeah.
To sit here and say, you know what? I'm a dancer in Las Vegas and that's how I pay my bills.
And it's not even all dancing.
What else is it?
I do a lot. That's the thing. Like I do love performing and I love that, but I also love contributing to the magic. Like anything. I love contributing to like what you don't see behind, the curtain.
Yeah.
Super random, but this actually just reminded me of it. There's a movie, and I can't remember the movie, but it's on Netflix, and it's one of those like really shitty dance movies that they're like, this is what dance is, and it's not. But there is one quote in there that I like heard, and I just like love the idea of, is like, right before that curtain opens, like we are all the same. We are all just waiting for the magic to start. I love that idea. Like we are all on the same level. We are waiting for that magic to start of the performance. Like we're all just waiting for the music to kick in. We're all just, I don't know, just in that space of like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, let's fuck this up.
Yeah, and so like that's so cool. Both the audience and the performers are all in the same waiting space, just for a split second, right before that curtain opens, and I love that. But what I love most is like the setup. I love the setup. So I love managing things. Like I love being part of the production management. So I do a lot of production management. I do a lot of talent management. I'm an MC, which I've found a new love for. Also in the past year. MC host, people call it different things. Not like a DJ or MC. I'm a host
like,
this event.
Man,
DJ.
I got bars, motherfucker.
I can rhyme, but not that good.
No, I asked you about the hosting stuff earlier because that is something that I want to get into outside of the podcast, of course. Like, I absolutely love the podcast. I'm never going to stop that. But the fact that I live in Las Vegas makes me, there's opportunity out here. And I mean, I believe that's how we met, was through the potential gig that we were going to have, that we thought we were going to have.
Yeah. It's actually funny, too, because I was reeled in because I said, I am an MC, like I am a paid MC host. And she was like, well, we're looking for one. And I was like, great. I love that idea. And then,
and then I just crushed.
Just funny.
But then it all fell through.
And then it was,
Which,
all that.
It is what it is.
Oh,
it is what it is.
No expectations. Yeah. I expect everything to go wrong.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, moving on.
Yeah. So how is it being a host?
It's fun. It's fun. It reminds me a lot of like, just the way you can connect with an audience, just on any capacity, is just so fun. And like, as much as you don't think people are listening to you, they are listening to you.
Because you're the motherfucking star, the person with the mic.
Yeah, and like,
talking.
People are so good at not looking at you, but listening to every single thing you say. and like you don't realize how
Why
many
is
people
that?
are paying. I don't know, but
Is
it's
that like
crazy
a thing where
to
people
me.
was like, I don't need to be watching them, or maybe I want to look cool, I don't need to watch them, or
I don't know because
being an asshole perception. I don't know.
I don't know, and I don't know if it's like maybe people don't want to look like they're engaged, or
Yeah.
maybe people are like
Too cool for school.
Yeah, maybe people like are uncomfortable with like this kind of connection, you know, where they look at you when you talk, or like when they
It's
are
these
again
days.
actually something. But like
Used to the text messages and shit.
I guess, but like I teach adults kickboxing, but also like to host events, like intimate events, like dinner events at the Wynn at a 5-star casino. Okay,
You got the plug? Can we get some food?
That is. I do have a few plugs, but anyway,
Let's write it up, baby.
that's
Let's
a
go.
whole nother like level.
Yeah, let's go
you
have
know,
some fun. Shit.
Of intimacy and like. But it's interesting. Either way, there's a lot of similarities across how adults act with you. I also do think it has a lot to do with how I look. I look 14. Okay, so when someone who
weird.
looks like me and is short is standing up there with a mic and saying like, "Okay, I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do today," and
Yeah.
you're like an experienced like casino player, like gambler or whatever, you're like, Psh, "Okay."
Who's this little kid?
Yeah. So I think it has a lot to do with that. Like, I'm not. Why would I like give you that respect? But then when I open my mouth and realize that, like, oh yeah, she does know what
Talking
she's
some
talking
good
about.
shit,
Like, wait,
yeah.
she does know. Then it's like, okay, maybe, and maybe that's it. I don't know. I would probably have a different experience if I was a different person. But it's fun. It's interesting. I don't push too much on the MC thing because, like, I think I definitely could push it more. But a lot of the jobs out here in Vegas, particularly, want you to MC and sing. Particularly for female roles, which I don't have a problem in singing because I sing. Musical theater is also what I do. So,
I bet. Talented ass.
but again, going back to I look 14 in a town that is sell sex for their income. Those two don't necessarily coincide.
Yeah.
Okay,
At all.
there's a lot of jobs I will never get because I am short. I will never be a showgirl. I can wish and I can put it on my dream board.
But everybody's like,
I can
this
try
and
to
then-
manifest
How tall
it.
are you?
I'm 5'2".
Okay.
My resume says 5'3". Don't tell my employers.
I'm gonna tell him 5'4". Shit. I was like, man, I think she was like 5'5", 5'4", or something like that. Shit.
But I'll never be a
She
showgirl,
had
and that's
flats
okay.
on too.
But and that's okay. That's why I've done a lot of casino hosting rather than like show hosting and stuff like that because they don't care. As long as you're a great personality, the casinos love you.
How did you get into that?
So oh wow. Okay, so how did I like come about this idea of being an MC?
Yeah. How did you get you? How do you
I
actually
guess
get your gigs?
I
And
might
then
as
how
well
did you
just
get
tell you a
started?
story. Okay, this is kind of general. Make friends. Make friends with everyone because
try.
always make friends. And even if they're not like great friends, just always like hey, good to see you because you never know when you're gonna call upon that person. And I actually listened to a show. Was watching a show, and he said, "Feed down, don't kiss up." So
Help the people below you, but don't kiss ass for the people above you.
you can kiss ass, but also understand that the people below you or at your same level, if we're really going to go there, are going to be a lot more influential in your life than people above you, which
Yeah.
has been so true. But going back, I worked an event for the past few years called Enchant Las Vegas. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Lights.
Little Christmas event. And not this past year, but the year before, they decided to add like a big stage. And opening night, they were like, "Oh my God, we don't have an MC." And I was like, "I've always wanted to try. Can I do it?" And they were like, "Sure. Here's the mic." And I said, "Great. How do you want me to go about this? Like, do you guys have a structure?" And they were like, "No, just intro them and outro them."
Oh, that's
And I said,
that's great.
And I said, say less.
Yeah, say less.
I said, say less. So I had the most fun I think I'd ever have, because I would make full-on acting bits to intro these people. I made some of them hide, and I would call them out. I made the audience scream with me. Like, it was so much fun. I just had the time of my life. Yeah.
You're in control of a group of people. You're put in a position of power, I guess, knowingly but unknowingly at the same time. But it's not like some dictatorship shit when you're just an asshole. It's just like, let's have a good time, but you're gonna listen to me. It's fucking spectacular.
Oh my God, it was so much fun because they didn't care what I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna take this as far as I can take this.
Yeah, they're so unexpected. They don't know what your job is. And the fact that your job was blank, you could take it wherever you wanted to.
Yes. And I had
exciting.
The most fun ever. It was the amount of people that I just messed with and the amount of like just fun I had with that audience just on the mic in front of the stage. And like, keep in mind, I was an elf. It was a Christmas event.
I bet, with your short ass.
See, going back, I'm short. I'm a great elf. Okay.
She said, "I get all the elf roles, though." Shit. If there's an elf MC needed, I'm fucking number one.
I'm there. But it was so much fun. And then, so after that season, when I did my New Year's Eve event, because I do the same New Year's Eve event at the Wynn every year, I looked at the MC of the party, and I said, "Hey, I'm actually like I experimented a little bit with emceeing like shows, the season, and I'm looking to get more into this. What do you recommend?" And he said, if you're interested, you can just come and watch one of my events at the Wynn and see if it's what you want to do. I said, sure. So 2 weeks later, I went and watched him present a giveaway at the Wynn, and it lasted 5 minutes. And I was like,
that's it?
That's it? Literally, that's what I said. I said, it lasted 5 minutes. And he said, yeah, you interested? And I said,
yeah.
How do you get paid for 5 minutes of work? And he said, well, I have a very different contract with the Wynn because of how much I work here. But he said, typically, when you get hired as an MC, you have a 2-hour minimum at $100 an hour. Whether or not you take 2 hours or 30 minutes, it's a 2-hour minimum. And I said, where do I sign?
Where do I sign?
Where do I sign?
Yeah.
I want that. And he said, okay, so come to a slot tournament that I'm doing, and I just want to see another type of event that I do. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yes.
I'm already here.
Yeah.
I'm already here.
Where are we going? Let's go.
So again, I showed up, and he was like, do you think you can do it? And I said, absolutely. And so then he gave me the rundown and said, this is how you do it. This is how we structure it. And to me, it feels the same as running a kickboxing class as a slot tournament. It's the same thing. It's just different vocab.
The feeling you're saying? Oh, you're saying how
it's
you...
the same structure,
yes,
different vocab.
Yes.
I usually mention bag. Instead, I would say machine. Your slot machine instead of bag. Instead of your gloves, I'm going to say the 2 buttons on your keyboard. It's the same thing. It's different vocab. So I was having a great time. And that's how I got that job. And
nice.
The people who work at the Wynn, the people that are in charge of their what's the word I'm looking for, special events, heard me do a few rounds of a slot tournament and said, we love her. She's hired. She can be here. And it's not even that I'm hired. It's yeah, we like her. Keep in mind, he has brought many MCs to the Wynn before. And they are very particular about who they want on their casino floor. For look and energy-wise.
Yeah.
So just for them to be like, yep, we approve, is great. And that's how that happens. So he calls me whenever he needs me. I did the G2E convention last October. I think it was October, which is where we just present different gambling games and new games coming out and stuff. And yeah, it's fun. I love it.
I definitely want to.
Are you kidding me? Give me a mic and you're telling me you have to listen to me? Absolutely. Again.
Man, I'm telling you. That's why I started a podcast.
Where do I sign?
People are going to listen to me? What?
yeah. And a mic.
I have a great opinions.
You're right.
I swear I talk the best shit.
Yes, literally.
Yeah, man, that's exciting. So MCing, you're dancing. How'd you start with acting?
Oh, I have always loved acting. So it's funny because I listened to one of your podcasts and they said that if you've done live theater, you've taken an acting class. And I was always a musical theater head. My mom was a musical theater person. She's an opera singer. Like, she always pushed me to do musical theater. And like, one of my first solos as a competitive dancer was Broadway Baby. I was in musical theater. That was my only solo, was musical theater. I lip sync, like the whole 9 yards. Like, every competition I would get like the Broadway Bound special award. Like, it's always been in me.
Yeah.
And I am one of those people, like, at dance competitions, you like go to compete, like, sure, like awards, first overall, whatever. I never gave a shit about first overall. If I went and I got a special award, which is like where the judges will pick, like, let's say one person. Usually it's one person per judge. It could be two. And they will give them a special award. Sometimes it's like, oh, beautiful lines, or like pretty costume, or like a Broadway Bound award. If I won that Broadway Bound award, I was happy. Because that means you remembered me. That means I said something. My mom always said, growing up, she said, Abby, you're taking 2.5 minutes of somebody's time that they are never going to get back. You better make it fucking count.
Yeah.
And so ever since then, I made sure it's counted. Not only am I performing, but through the people that I meet.
Yeah.
If I'm ever going to take your time, I hope it's worth it.
Yeah.
And my goal is to make sure that it's worth it.
Damn straight.
I don't want to waste your time because you're never going to get it back. And really ever since then, that's been my goal with performing and dancing, is I want to make sure that you feel something, anything.
Nice. I like that. Because instilling emotions in somebody else is such a magical thing. Whether it's laughter, whether it's fear, whether it's fucking just drama-filled emotion, whether it's like crying and fucking sad, or if you can instill emotion in another person, that's extreme gift. That's why we watch performances. That's why we watch movies. That's why we listen to music, because we want to feel. Because life is a motherfucker, and if we get to feel for a second, we get to escape. And if you can instill and make me feel something that makes me feel special and good, I can escape for the fucking headaches that the world has. Those are my 2.5 minutes, and I know that's what you're giving. Fuck yeah. Emotion is a motherfucker, man.
And I had done musical theater and stuff like growing up. I did like summer camps. I did like, where you go take classes, learn a show for the end of the week type thing. And done, community theater and just little things here and there. But I think the biggest thing was like my solos growing up, because you can compete solos, duos, trios, small groups. My solos always had to have something. I had to have something. Like, my only goal was like, again, a special award, but also if somebody that I didn't know came up to me after my solo and said, wow, that was really good. That's all I cared about.
It's such a good feeling.
You're never going to remember first overall. You're never going to remember somebody who won, who was that perfect and beautiful. It doesn't fucking matter. Anybody can do that. But if somebody made you cry, if somebody made you just sit there and think, if somebody stopped you in your tracks, you're going to remember them. You're not going to remember somebody who had a perfect score. Sure, they were great, beautiful.
Yeah.
But they didn't make you think. They didn't make you feel. They didn't change your day.
Yeah. They weren't special. They were just number one for that day. It takes being different to be special. Being able to step out of your comfort zone to be special.
And I am not the most technical dancer. I need 30 solid minutes of warm-up before I can kick my face. Okay? I need a solid stretch, and before I am super technical. But what I've always relied on, and that's always gotten me through, is being on stage and like, this is my stage for 2.5 minutes, and you will hear what I have to say, whatever I decide to talk about. And what my favorite thing is that the audience is the most vulnerable place to be.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there and you have shows, when you're like, oh, I'm going to go see the show, and you haven't done any research on it, you have no idea what to expect. I can tell you whatever I want to tell you, and you will typically just accept it.
Yeah.
As a consumer, you don't know any better.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have the script in your hands.
That's a very vulnerable place to be. And the fact that it's not taken more seriously, or more people don't actually take advantage of that in a good way, is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You could change the world.
Yeah. Based on what you give, how you inspire, how you instill.
You could change the world one show at a time, and you're not.
I love your passion.
Thank you.
It makes me so fucking happy.
I have a lot.
I absolutely love sitting at this fucking table and having people like you sit here and inspire me, because I see like the passion that you have for dancing and entertaining and just making people feel good or feel at all. It radiates, and I see it and I feel it. So shout out to you. That's pretty dope.
But every part of that story matters. That's why I love just being part of the magic.
Yeah.
Because even if you're not the one portraying that story, but if you still had something to do with it.
It takes a lot to go into it.
It takes a fucking village.
Yeah, it's not just the face.
But if you are still the person that had anything to do with that.
You're going to look up and fucking smile. You're going to say, fuck yeah, we did that.
There's times where I've driven costumes 45 minutes across the city because A, they needed me to, but B, I was just excited to be part of the magic. They will never know that I drove 45 minutes to get them their costumes, but I know that. And the fact that I contributed to that still makes me happy.
Yeah. That's badass.
It's so minute, and it really doesn't matter, but like, it matters.
No, hell yeah, it matters.
Like, it totally
it's not
matters.
minute at all.
Like,
if they didn't have their fucking costume, what would have happened?
You know, like, I don't know.
The show would have been different.
I love it so much.
Because everything has to be perfectly in sync. Even when shit goes haywire, you still have to be in sync. Like you said, when props fall, you have to dance around it and figure it out.
There is so much that goes on that the regular audience member or consumer that will never, ever, ever know. You'll never know. And that's the best part.
Because we're not trained to see. Yeah. We're just there to have a good time.
That's the best part.
Yeah. So Abby, what do you have coming next? You're in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. You're fucking paying your bills, entertaining, doing a flux of different things. You're emceeing, you're dancing, you're teaching, you're acting, you're doing all of this shit. What the fuck do you do next?
I leave. I had an idea when I moved here to do 5 years in each city. 5 years in Vegas, 5 years in New York, and 5 years in LA. I'm not somebody, I have goals and I have ideas of what I want to do, but however that decides to play out is how it decides to play out. So I'm not tied to one outcome other than the outcome of my goals coming true. Not necessarily in that order, but however, again, it decides to manifest, great, I'll take it. But Las Vegas is fun. It's great. I love the quick money. I love the quick jobs. But I have it in my heart to start doing what I originally wanted to do, which was
motherfucking New York.
Yeah.
New York, baby.
So actually, I have just started really pushing on my online submissions, getting back in with my vocal coach, getting my songs like on video, because that's really the only thing holding me back is the fact that I don't have my songs on video yet. So just doing that and making sure they are where they need to be and just submitting and hoping for the best. And I'm just going to do what I feel called to do, and whatever takes hold. And that's kind of how I live my life. Like, I have like vague goals.
I feel that from you. Like, sitting here talking to you, I feel like you go with the flow. Like you know what you want, but you're gonna go with the flow because life is gonna change and life is gonna throw curveballs as you are accustomed to. So you are well equipped and prepared to curve with that motherfucking ball, but you know what the final destination is gonna be.
Right. And like, how are you supposed to, if I don't know, this is just kind of a side rant. But like for people who want to, be directors in any capacity, whether it's on a live performance or in film, how do you expect to do that and be in charge without ever having experienced the other side?
Mm-hmm.
That blows my mind.
You have to have that experience.
Do you not want to know what it's
like an overall stronger person, performer, entertainer.
Right. Do you not want to know what it's like to be the personal assistant?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not want to know what it's like to be the production manager?
That's your love for it, though. That's your all in all love for what you do.
But like, how do you not want to know what it's like? But yet you just want to surpass everything?
You want to be the fucking star.
But what about what everybody else is doing?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one thing. I was on set in November for a series coming out, hopefully in the spring still. And I felt irrelevant to the whole process. Like, everything, I felt like I wasn't doing anything at all. I felt almost useless.
Yeah.
Was I? No, because I was hired to be there, and I was hired to be the lead to be there. But I felt so irrelevant because I wasn't doing anything, but also I was doing exactly what I needed to do. But there was so many people working so hard to make this piece come together. That, again, you don't see, and that some people, I don't understand, like, you don't want to know what it's like?
Yeah.
That, like, the person in the spotlight not barely does anything, but, it takes them 45 minutes to set up a shot.
Mm-hmm. Why? Let me find out why.
Yeah, like, and you don't want to know? Oh, God. Anyway, there's that little side rant.
Hey, man. Abby, you're a bad motherfucker, man.
Oh,
I'm very excited that I got to sit here and talk to you and get to know you a little bit and feel your passion for what you're doing. And the fact that you're in Las Vegas and you're doing all of these badass things. There's reasons why there's movies about people performing in Las Vegas. Because it's fucking badass. You're in a little desert in the middle of fucking nowhere, pretty much. 4 or 5 hours from anywhere relevant, and you're fucking performing under the bright motherfucking lights, girl. And there's so much opportunity out here. So it's super cool for you to be on my podcast during this small stop in your life on your way to Broadway and on your way to New York City to do badass shit. But it's cool to just see you do your thing, man. And very small piece I get to be a part of that. So it's pretty badass. But Abby, I appreciate you getting on the show, man. Every time I have somebody get on the show for the first time, I sit back, I shut the fuck up, and I give you a chance to tell everybody that's watching anything else that you want to share, something that you have coming up next, any good causes that you may have, or social media handles, or anything that you want to share. This is your chance.
Can I look up a quote? Because I'm going to botch it. Even though it's my favorite quote, I'm still going to botch it because that's just, my brain. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage.
Yeah. Hell, you have to have a lot of fucking courage in this world. Because, like we talked about curveballs, that's what life is all about. The highs and the lows, the struggle. Because you could be the richest motherfucker with all the shit in the world, but your mind is still going to struggle. You're still going to get sick. You're still going to have friends and family that die and pass away. You're going to lose those best jobs, or you're not going to get that audition, or you're going to fuck up and a prop is going to fall during your performance. Shit happens. You have to have courage to be able to withstand whatever the fuck is thrown at you and keep it pushing.
It's either a seed or a weed.
Oh, I'd rather be a seed, baby. Let me grow. Let me fucking, I'm a peacock, baby. I gotta fly.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you. I loved this, and I am absolutely humbled and tickled that you even asked me to be here.
I like how you said tickled. I like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm like, oh my God, why would you want me?
Because you're a badass motherfucker. That's why. Look at everything you just said. All of the things that you've experienced. You were one of 20 or 30 in that school. You auditioned and got the fucking shit for Royal Caribbean, and you're fucking emceeing and doing all of these things. You're chasing your goals and dreams, and you're not scared to do it. That is why I asked you to be on my show. You are a badass motherfucker.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, and I wish you all the best. And when you make it to New York, send me a fucking invitation so I can come check you out.
You get a backstage pass.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. And with that being said, we're going to sum it up for this episode of Talk Smack with Mac. Abby, I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing all of your accomplishments coming forward.
And IU.
Yes, man. Fuck yeah. We're out, guys.